Somewhere on the other side of the planet, in a hidden corner of a tropical rainforest, pumping through the veins of some unknown animal, a new virus is incubating that could end human life as we know it. At least that's the fear and the motivation of the intrepid virus hunter we're about to meet. And to find him, ABC's Dr. Richard Besser went to the ground zero of global contagion.
In the jungles of Cameroon, hiking through thickets, vines, cocoa trees with Nathan Wolf is so beautiful that you almost forget what he's here for.
The fruits de la plantation.
Searching for the lethal creatures that he's convinced are lurking out of sight. Tiny microbes, deadly new viruses.
What our work is focused on is understanding what's out there that could potentially harm us as a species.
We joined Wolf and his viral forecasting team on their latest trip to Central Africa. This one to Cameroon, which he fears may become the birthplace for the next deadly pandemic. He means to stop it before it can even get started.
So looking in Central Africa, because there have been a lot of diseases that have come from this part of the world, it's a good place to try and see what might be next?
Yeah, so what we're looking at is a couple different things. Where do we have a diversity of animals, and where do we have people who have a lot of exposure to those animals?
Hollywood movies like Contagion have tapped into the fear of devastating new viruses leaping from animals to humans. But that prospect isn't far-fetched. In fact, it's happened. In Asia in 2002, 8,000 cases of SARS erupted when a virus from a bat mutated. In 2009, the so-called swine flu virus, H1N1, leapt from pigs into humans and killed 18,000 people. And of course, AIDS. 60 million have contracted the HIV virus, which causes AIDS. 25 million have died. The original source? A virus from chimpanzees, from this region. To get here, we've flown to the teeming city of Douala, and then driven to the coastal town of Kribi, where we meet up with Nathan to begin a trek into the bush.
We're going to be headed to a site south of the Kampalman National Park.
Lots of wildlife there.
Lots of wildlife, and of course, from our perspective, a lot of them harbor diseases that may have the potential to cross into humans.
Ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's an 8-hour drive, and pretty quickly we see the problem. We've entered territory of such extreme poverty that they must eat what they can hunt. And this is the result. Along the sides of the road, porcupines, hornbills, and monkeys waiting to be sold. Bushmeat.
Is there a problem in terms of pandemics or disease with eating porcupine?
We're not really talking about consumption.
So it's not eating the bushmeat, it's handling the bushmeat?
Getting a bite from an animal, cutting yourself while you're butchering an animal, contact you have with raw animal meat.
In the village of Naibasang, as one family was finishing a breakfast of monkey meat, we hooked up with local hunter Nko Jr. Hunters like Jr. may find new viruses in addition to meat.
So you have to set a lot of traps to get a hit.
Yes, in general, this is hard work.
In order to feed his family, Jr. lays traps throughout the forest.
He steps on that stick.
That's right.
It's grueling work.
We've been walking for about an hour and a half. Lots of traps, but so far, not one animal.
And while this place may feel remote, Wolf is quick to point out that that is not the case.
When you see a logging road, what do you think about?
I think about the potential for both animals as well as humans with new viruses to get to cities where you have planes, cities where you have boats.
So things that happen in Central Africa don't stay in Central Africa.
You got it.
Whoa! Junior finds only empty traps on this day. But another hunter in the village has had luck. His wife is preparing a porcupine to be cooked, and I get a first-hand look at how a virus might pass between the blood of an animal and a human. As she goes about her task, I try to protect myself. She takes no precautions.
Careful.
Yeah. Wolf and his team monitor the hunter's blood, looking for new viruses they may have picked up.
We've got two jobs: understand the nature of exactly what's out there in different animal species, and then to find the people who have contact and see what's jumping over, and then to ask, are these things spreading? Are they causing disease?
And they rely on the hunters to gather crucial blood samples from the animals they trap.
So from 5 drops of blood, you can tell what viruses are in that animal?
We can look at the genetic structure of the animal. We can look at the viruses that occur in that animal. One of these kinds of spots could lead us to discovering the next pandemic.
How many of these cards have you collected so far?
Almost 20,000.
20,000
samples, yeah.
20,000.
So these are your lab buildings?
Where do all those samples end up? Here.
Whoa. And this looks like the kind of lab I might see at the CDC.
Absolutely.
Housed in a military facility in the heart of Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon, is one of their main laboratories.
So in those boxes are all of your samples?
Yes.
Wolf and his mission have attracted millions of dollars in funding. Critics charge that the money should not be spent on diseases that might happen.
With all the problems going on around the world, HIV, TB, malaria, how can we possibly afford to look for a virus that may never cause a disease?
I mean, I think I would flip that right on its head and ask the question of how could we afford not to?
While some say he may be looking for a needle in a haystack, Wolf's team has in fact discovered a range of new animal viruses, some that have also been found in humans. And out in the jungle, he's still prowling for the one that might kill us. For Nightline, I'm Dr. Richard Besser in Niabassang, Cameroon.
Nathan Wolf's new book, The Viral Storm, The Dawn of a New Pandemic Age, was published today, and Dr. Richard Besser's reporting, part of ABC's initiative Be the Change, Save a Life, produced with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and we're grateful to both. And coming up next, the GOP debates.